Hey everyone, Goose here. Wanted to show you how I got this culture victory done. We're on Emperor difficulty, standard game speed, playing with Pericles of Greece. So you can see if I go up into my culture, we're done. We're well over the tourists that we need. I haven't played a turn since we got the win, just came back into the game to show you guys how I got it done. So you can see as I'm in the culture victory here screen, world rankings, you can see where all of the tourism is coming from. We got the seaside resorts going out on the coast. We have 27 in the Acropolis down here in Corinth. Let's kind of go around from how this all got started. That we have Athens here. You can see 36 coming from the Acropolis in Athens. We have the amphitheater, the art museum, broadcast center, and the great works that are in those. Obviously, is what's really producing the tourism. Our second city was Pharsalos over here, and we have some wonders that are really starting to increase the tourism, as well as again the Acropolis. But we have the Bolshoi Theater, and we have the Hermitage over here. Then we come up here. We have I don't recall the name of this city, but again some seaside resorts and Broadway giving us some tourism here. Also check out these national parks here. So we have Mount Kilimanjaro National Park, which is pretty sweet. I love doing national parks. It's just something that I really like doing. I enjoy national parks, still do enjoy national parks. So putting them into the game, preserving that space on the board for national parks, I really like doing that. And that's pretty cool because I actually combined two national parks, and it looks like it's one really big national park with Mount Kilimanjaro kind of peaking in the south, and then this mountain range up in the north. Down here, again, seaside resorts providing most of the tourism. Again, seaside resorts. The other thing you'll notice about these cities is they're developed. Even these ones which were later in the game, we have 16 population, 8 population, 10 population, and everything around them. There isn't an unused hex on them, and we can look at that later. But look at the mini map down here. You can see this is where I started, and I didn't have enough space. I was trying to get all of this coastline so I can try to put in seaside resorts, but I ran out. So, because I have Brazil up here flanking me to the north. So what I did is I came around here and I was able to get up onto here. So I started expanding outward, and a couple of seaside resorts up here, nothing special. But then over here is where it starts to get interesting. So from here, I went and I got up into here in another national park. This time it's I'm not going to try to pronounce that, guys, but another really cool national park with this cool mountain range, and obviously the culture that it gives. So this is a really good city, even though it doesn't look like a good city. But this is the cool thing about culture, is that you can come up here, you're flanked by German cities that Magdeburg here is arguably a better city with all the farms and whatnot, but you get 12 culture just from settling this city. And you're producing a lot of culture as well because of the natural wonder there. And then from there, before Germany kind of started crushing this city and trying to choke it out, I was able to get through over to here and put up 2 more cities on here, again getting the coastline, getting 5 more seaside resorts out of it, as well as some pretty good cities. Knossos here is a pretty good city. It's got good growth. You can see it still has room to grow. It's just it was a late in the game add, but you can see I need to put some lumber mills in to get that production up. But sometimes you don't want to put lumber mills in either because it decreases the at least I think lumber mills decrease the appeal of tiles, which is important for building seaside resorts. But again, another national park up here in the mountains. I think, is that all the national parks, or did I have one more? I think that might have been it. So 4 national parks, which is pretty dang good. And in order to do that, you have to have faith. You can see we're producing 105 faith per turn, and we actually have some religious districts out there to help produce that faith. So, let's see what we did. Obviously, you start by building the Acropolis, which for the Greeks has to be built on a hill, which makes things a little bit trickier, especially when you're trying to get adjacency bonuses with other districts. That's not too difficult, but wonders, because wonders obviously need specific places to build. But a couple wonders I want to highlight is Christo Redentor, or Christ the Redeemer. The cool thing about him is that he increases the tourism from seaside resorts. So, going for a culture victory, you're going for one of the things you're trying to do is build seaside resorts to boost that tourism, direct help from Christo Redentor. Also, the Eiffel Tower, which increases the appeal of all of your tiles across your civilization. Then the two things that does for you, again, appeal. You need appeal in order to build seaside resorts. I think it has to be a breathtaking 4. Yeah, this one's breathtaking 4 right here. So it has to be breathtaking 4 or better. Then it has to be built on a coastal tile that is flat. It can't be hills, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I don't know why you couldn't build a seaside resort on a hill, but I suppose it's just some balancing mechanic that they put in. But otherwise, other wonders, because that's what's one of the fun things about doing a culture victory, is the Bolshoi Theater, the Hermitage, which are both packed full with great works. Let's see, what else did we have? In the Capitol, Christo Redentor, which we covered, and then also Broadway. It's actually in the Capitol. It's closer to Argos, but it is actually was built by Athens. So Broadway's kind of out there in the mountains over there. I think that's it. So not a ton of wonders, but enough that it got it done. So the other things that we were able to do, one of the things, let's look at our civics. So that's obviously a big part of this. And one of the reasons it is because you look at what the civics can do for you, is that we have 50 tourism output to civilizations, which you have a trade route with. Big, obviously. 100% tourism from great works of art and artifacts. Triples tourism from great works of music. And then just some other stuff, which isn't, I have some science things going just to try to boost my science. But you also notice that I'm a fascist, which, somebody might turn their nose up at, but it's a political move, because we have a bonus to tourism with civilizations that we share a government with. So if we were to pull open all of our tiles here, you can see all of our civilizations. If we go through here, we have theocracy, so no bonus. Theocracy with the Germans, no bonus. Monarchy, but then, oh, come on. Yeah, so then one democracy, fascism, and fascism. So 3 civilizations are fascist. 2 were a theocracy, 1 was a monarchy, and 1 was a democracy. So it makes sense for us to be fascist. Let's increase our tourism with those civilizations. So you can see, I think, what was it? Was it Philip? Anyway, you can see, so it wasn't minus 27 for different governments, minus 24 for different governments, minus 27, but then no minus with Gandhi, and no minus with Pedro, and no minus with Peter. So late in the game, once you kind of have everything you already need, I'm maxed out with my culture. I'm producing 668 per turn, which is ridiculous. I finished my culture tree in the early 1800s. So I didn't need to keep getting those, that whatever I was getting from, usually I go democracy late in the game. I didn't need it. So let's go fascist. Let's get rid of that minus the penalty for tourism. But then you'll also notice that all of them have trade routes. You got to have the trade routes. So every single one of them except for Philip right now is showing a trade route. And I wonder if we actually have some. Sometimes that is a bug. Let's go to our trade routes. So Germany, so I actually don't have one. So that's something I should have been doing, and maybe I was, in order to increase that tourism. So the trade routes are huge. The big things late in the game for the tourism is your great works and your trade routes, your seaside resorts, and your national parks. Put them all together, you have a chance if you don't ignore one or the other. And there's some other things sprinkled in throughout here. I think I'm getting tourism. Let's just actually go check this real quick. I'm sidetracking a little bit, but I think I'm getting tourism from religious districts. Let's see if I can find one. I am. Yep. So I got a great person throughout the game who gave me plus, I thought it was supposed to be plus 10 tourism for religious districts. So that served two purposes. Like I was saying earlier, I need faith in order to build the national park person to establish the national parks. But I also needed the faith districts, the religious districts, in order to increase tourism. So it served two purposes. I've played other games where I got the plus 10 great person was for science districts, for campuses. So that's pretty cool. Well, actually, yeah, you can see that here. So I'm actually getting it from both. I wonder if I got both of the great people. I think I have a couple campuses. I didn't even show this city earlier, but you can see I put a campus out here. Or I thought I'm building it. So yeah, so I have the great person for campuses as well. One tourist here. But hey, sometimes one tourist is what it's going to take to put you over the edge, so you might as well do it. So if we go back, let's go back and look at our great works real quick. That's pretty much the last thing. And you can see I got a lot of themes going on, and that's what you need. And the other thing you'll notice is I'm not even done. I need some more artifacts. I'm short on great works of writing, which is not uncommon. The only reason I have most of my great works of writing covered is because of the deals I have made with other civilizations. If you look here, you'll see that I'm giving 39 gold to China, 27 gold to Peter, 53 gold to Philip, and 55 gold to Peter. All of those deals were done, and you can see after all that, I'm still producing 156 gold per turn. So when I'm going for a culture victory, my main focus is obviously building the culture districts. The second thing, and this is true for almost any game I play, is building commercial hubs, trade routes right away, early and often. Get them out. You can see we have 11 trade routes right now because you produce gold off those. Those are what gives you gold. Almost directly, that is how you get gold. So yeah, you can see just gold coming in 11, 8, 8, 6. So it's not the only way you produce gold. Obviously, that's why you build the commercial districts. But those trade routes are key. Also, the seaside resorts. You can see 6 a pop in some of them, 4 a pop down here. So gold is obviously important, and one of the reasons it is, one, it allows you to build military units. I don't like spending time building military units. We have other things to build. But the other thing is that it allows you to do these trade deals later in the game. Just give somebody a ridiculous amount, 50 gold per turn. That's ridiculous, right? But we're producing 550, so is it? Not really. It's completely reasonable if what you're getting back is, let's say, a relic. I don't have any religious units, so I don't have the option to create relics. But you can see I have 3 of them in my possession, which I got from giving gold to other civilizations, as well as theming your museum. So if you don't know, you theme a museum by having similar pieces of art, so landscapes in this example down here, the Art Museum in Athens, by different artists. So we have Vincent van Gogh, this dude, and that dude. So I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because it's not going to be good. But anyway, that's how you do it. And it's the same thing with artifacts, or similar thing with artifacts. It's artifacts from different civilizations of the same era. So at the Archaeological Museum in Argos, it's medieval artifacts from Lisbon, China, and Jerusalem. So city-states count. But what also often happens when you send one archaeologist out there to find these artifacts, you're going to not get a theme out of the 3 artifacts he picks. Probably it's not going to happen. So what you do is you first trade amongst your own archaeological museums, but then you're still probably not going to get it done. So you're going to go have to trade with other civilizations. You send him one of your artifacts, they'll send you one of theirs. You can see this one's still not themed. What do we have? Two ancients. So it should be a 2 out of 3 theming, it looks like to me. I'm not sure why it says 1 out of 3. But anyway, I should have had one more ancient artifact. But it's hard to do, and you do it through trading, and if I would have got 3 more here, I probably could have got 1 more archaeological museum themed. But so that's kind of how this one went down. Obviously, went Athens to Pharsalos. Those are my 2 main cities. I have a ton of production, a ton of growth in Pharsalos. Arguably a better city than Athens, but I focused get my culture districts built, get my my commercial districts built, produce a lot of gold, produce a lot of culture, just a ridiculous amount of culture, expand. That's another thing. Expand rapidly, get to the coast, get the coastline set, and then get the wonders built as soon as you get them. If you play on harder and harder difficulties, Emperor's not too bad, but it happens still frequently. You'll have 1 turn left, 2 turns left. Somebody else will finish that that wonder, and you'll be SOL because you were trying to finish that that builder back on turn 200. So once you unlock the wonder, start building it. Find a city that gives you a lot of production, probably your first or second city, or a big production city that you built later on, and get it done. The other thing is I like to buy builders. I don't like to build builders. I like to buy them. We're producing a lot of gold, and that's the best way to use your gold as you're developing your civilization. Buy your builders and improve your tiles. So don't leave tiles that are being used unimproved. And if I look, I bet I have some. Yeah, I have some woods up here, but most of them are in use. I could have put a farm down here. I'm not sure why I have that tile locked on, but anyway. Oh, and the aluminum, which I didn't have to go develop yet. And the main reason why this wasn't happening in here is because I had other things going on. But regardless, I have 570 gold. I should have had a builder and got out there and done that. Just got lazy late in the game, honestly, because it just didn't quite matter. For the last 15, probably not that much. The last 10 turns, I've really just been trying to find ways to maximize my tourism. But anyway, that's how you do it. A lot of culture, a lot of gold. Improve your tiles as you go. Make sure you're expanding to the coast. Make sure you're getting luxuries in your expansion. And don't have the ability to think ahead in your city planning. If I would have put a, let's just say I would have bought this tile and I would have put instead of putting my campus here, I would have put it here. This national park would not exist because I have a campus on there. I can't do that. A national park has to be unimproved tiles. So similarly, there used to be like a swamp right here, and I think up here, and I had to take those swamps out, get a builder out there, take the swamps out to improve the appeal of those tiles, which you have to have a certain amount of appeal. For national parks, it has to be mountains or a certain amount of appeal in order to put that national park down. So when you're going for a culture victory, the reason I think it's the most fun is because there's a bunch of different things you should be doing. You should be doing wonders. You should be expanding. You should be thinking ahead. City planning is huge, but science, you can't ignore that. Either you need to be looking at the great people all the time. You need to be making trade deals with other civilizations. You need to be doing trade routes to other civilizations. There's just a lot going on. And it's a lot of fun. It's not just a science game where you're just building campuses and maximizing science constantly. You're looking at doing other things, and it's a lot of fun. One thing I just noticed, I played this game a couple of weeks ago, so if you notice, it seems like I forgot things. That's why. You notice I have the Sydney Opera House up here as well. That's pretty hard to build because you unlock it kind of early, and it takes a ton of production, but great works of music are a great source of tourism. So if I look at my tourism, I bet I'm getting, 13. So not as much as Broadway, but still pretty good. Let's see, what's it have in it? Should be full, hopefully. Yeah, it's got 3 musical pieces in there. But anyway, wonders. So that's how I did it. A lot of expansion. Greek's a lot of fun to play with, except that you have to be careful building the culture districts because it has to be on a hill. You'll notice this one I had to get way out here to build it on the hill. but it's rewarding, and it's less production to build it, which is huge early in the game. Anytime you're not spending production on something else, you could be spending it on a wonder. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I really enjoyed the Culture Victory. I hope you guys too. Until next time.